And welcome to the Ouchcast, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, I want to say I hate Enrique.
Yeah.
I really hate Enrique.
Yeah.
And I really despise Enrique.
Yeah.
But to cleanse the palate, let me see here.
Because this guy's been gargling nuts all day. He really does need to cleanse that palate. Dude, how do you handle that shit?
I want to go serious for once, and you're like fucking going off on a tangent here.
Hey, you know the world is a scary place right now, and
you know,
like the Joker, man. Like, why so serious?
I can't find the stupid video I wanted to show you.
All right. So while you're looking for a video, because I'm slow, let me tell you. Okay, so we're like in, what is it, June 13th. So happy Friday the 13th. I don't know. I haven't felt any sense of unluckiness. Today's been a nice day.
I got a ticket this morning.
Oh, shit. Okay, never mind. There we go.
I got a ticket this morning.
I woke up too late to go to school this morning.
He called me around 11. He has summer school right now. He called me around 11, like text me around 11 while I was out in Dana Point. He's like, my alarm didn't go off. I'm like, dude, I thought he was at school the whole time because, I didn't see him leave or anything, but I assumed he left.
Dude, you could have ditched, bro.
Well,
you owed it to like me as a 14-year-old kid trying to ditch to have done it. Why didn't you do it? Why'd you fail us?
Shut up. But what he did do is, like, I told him, I go, dude, if I would have known he didn't go to school, he would have gotten Dana Point with me. He could have been my wingman, whatever. Here's the video I wanted to show you. I think it's stupid. He's
going to show me a video and he's dipping into my punchline, but whatever. Let's go.
You're never been funny.
I try though, and you're messing with my flow.
And yet you still fail. This is funnier.
Okay. Okay, that was worth it. Sir, I heartily shake your hand. Well done. I heartily shake your hand. Well done. That was worth it. Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed it too.
Oh man!
So before we get going with the story for today, let's just check in with everybody's mental health. And how are you doing? I know you're super busy, super swamped. It's been chaos all this week.
Here's the thing. I fall apart during my vacations just because I don't have structure, and there's been moments where like I just pretty much did not leave my room, and that was fine. It wasn't such a doldrums where I felt bad about it, because there's been a few moments where I have gone out. I've been helping a friend register for school. I've gone out and done errands. I've cleaned my room. And this stuff has been spread out. I went to the doctor to do my regular checkup. So things have been all right. My mental health is okay. The only issue, of course, is, the thing that everybody's kind of dealing with right now here in LA, and that's what people are calling, the LA riots, or at least if you listen to like Donald Trump over there.
Or people from Texas. There was a guy who was on Facebook on the Knott's Berry Farm group. He's like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I read it. He's like, hey, I have a trip to Knott's Berry Farm this weekend, but with all the riots, is it safe to go? I'm like, first of all, they're not riots. That's why when I said it to him off air earlier, I called it riots as a joke, because it annoys me when people say that crap. It's not a riot. It's a protest. There's nothing major going on. It's not like a certain January 6th that happened a few years ago where, people did die. Let's not, split hairs over that.
We have effectively, like, we say it every podcast, we say it every week in our own personal lives. Like, we've reached a point where the lies are hard to ignore, and yet we've gotten better at it. Just listening to like Pat Bondi or listening to the press secretary, talk about these protests that are happening, as if like she literally calls them an insurrection, right? And then you have like a senator who responds to her and tells her no, that's not. This is not an insurrection. An insurrection was June 6th, a few years ago, where you literally had people trying to stop a lawful election and threatening to hang our vice president, threatening to kill some of our representatives, and attacking police officers with weapons. People died in that one. That was not a protest. That was a genuine riot. They attacked federal buildings. They destroyed federal property, and you had like a horned head friggin' Viking guy walking around with a spear. I mean, dude, those were not protests. Those were not lawful, legal protests. But yet you would listen to our press secretary talk about what's happening in LA. as if it is. And I just saw a video, and I'll send it to you later, of today's gathering, and it was just a bunch of people dancing to folklorico music, singing Mexican songs, waving both American and Mexican flags. Honestly, I support the waving of both. I mean, California used to be part of Mexico. Obviously, America legally owns California, so I would never say that America stole it. Although historically, you can see the history where people can prove that was always the intention to take it. It was stolen in the same way other countries steal land when they get it through either war, through pay. I mean, they bought it, right? I mean, America did pay for it.
Let's be clear on that matter, though. Okay, so Polk went along and said, "Hey, well, we have this manifest destiny crap," and then he said, "Let's buy California from Mexico." He offered $20 million. Mexico said, "Go pound sand." So what did he do? He caused a commotion, kind of similar to what the Orange Turd is doing here in LA to get his way. So he caused a commotion, sent some troops on a debated area by the river, caused a small instigation, and then we declare war on Mexico.
Yeah,
of course, Mexico was not as structured as the military for the United States, so they got decimated. As part of the surrender, to add more insult to the injury, he's like, "Oh, and here's $15 million for California."
Yeah, but he ended up getting more land too because he got
else.
Yeah, there was a lot more land that came with that.
The Treaty of Guadalupe.
Right. So thank you. That actually was more clear. I do appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately, this land was stolen in the way you steal from somebody's in a deal. And I'm not, and historically, that's okay. Here's the thing. At some point, we all need to figure out how to look at larger societal things, like things that are so big. And for us, as here, we're small people in a big world, we need to figure out how to talk about these things in a way where the larger things that happen can't be equated to smaller things. So when we say stolen, it's easy to think of stealing, on my level, where if I steal your moleskin, which is what he calls it, which is the name of his thing. I thought he was talking about his foreskin, by the way, off camera earlier.
The brand of this notebook is moleskin.
Why are you asking your son to find your foreskin, bro?
I have no idea why it's called a moleskin, but that's
right. I was scared for you, my guy. I was so scared for you. I was gonna slip over the Department of Child Protective Services on you, but hey, don't worry.
Multipass.
Anyway, so I thought
been frisky today.
I was born frisky, my guy.
That's not what I heard.
Frisky. All right. So, anyways, yeah, so we got to figure out a way to talk about these larger things in larger scales, because stealing a country is not like me stealing your notepad. It's not the same thing. But this is a language we have, right? And so whether it's fair or wasn't, we can totally debate it. But nevertheless, California is an American state. I'm good with that. I wave my American flag. I'm very proud to be an American. I am. But I also recognize that lots of Mexicans live here. Lots of Latinos live here, and they're very proud of that. And the history and the roots. I mean, you only have to look up and down the state and the names of streets and places, and it's just rich in Mexican history, and that's good. I'm okay with that. So people wave both flags, not a problem. But anyways, back to the issue at hand. This equation between January 6th and what happened here the last week is not the same. And just like you, by the way, I was watching this thread where this lady says, a popular influencer, she says, I'm supposed to go to Morro Bay, and me and my kids have been planning it for 8 months, and we're so excited, but with the riots, I don't know if we should go. It sounds scary. And everybody in the comments are, yeah, no, you shouldn't come. It's real scary. Please don't come. Even though literally Morro Bay is 390 or almost 400 miles away up north, and it's nowhere near any of our communities. I mean, there's nothing happening there. But hey, just if we can keep stupid people out of our state, sure, why not? It took a job. Oh, and speaking of which, you heard Donald Trump walking back the whole raids on farms. Oh, don't worry,
on farmers and on hotel employees, or what's the other word? Jesus Christ, it's escaping me at the moment, but there's a certain word for it.
What about the guy that they got at the car wash the other day?
Yeah, I'm getting to that right now.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that.
Here in Whittier,
a lot of
here
that,
in Whittier, they went full force. Now, it's clear that it's not a illegal situation, because they're targeting certain minorities. I don't see no Canadians being tackled down. I don't see no, Europeans, get off of me. No, I don't see none of that. It's typically only brown skinned, dark skinned people, right? They've also arrested citizens. For instance, did you see this? What happened yesterday in East LA? It was yesterday. Okay.
I saw that exact video. I was about to bring it up.
Yo, these guys are literally based off of skin color.
Wow.
My homie was born here just because of the way he looks.
No mames, güey. I love it.
I love the pinche puto. No mames, güey.
Me la pelas, güey. Tu mamá también, cabrón.
Okay, you gotta look here.
I've been watching like Narcos.
Yeah, I could tell.
All week. It's been great.
Fuck this shit. This is not fair at all,
Pues
bro.
me la pelas, güey.
This is not fair at all, bro. We're all American over here, man. Can't be
They
doing
have
this
no
shit to
reason
us,
for
bro.
that.
No, I know.
None
I
whatsoever.
like right here when he gets really emotional.
Wrong, bro. I'm American, motherfucker. You don't
Yeah.
ever fucking grab me like that, bro. I'm American,
Exactly.
motherfucker. I'm
And
American
then all
citizen,
these
motherfucker.
ICE people
Fuck you,
can do is just like retreat, but they don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a
And
shit.
they're literally wearing masks like Gestapo. How many TV shows have we seen where they try to recreate like this sort of Gestapo kind of thing that happens, and it literally looks exactly what's happening now. Like I was the one that comes to mind is Battlestar Galactica. In the show, the whole show is like the reboot of it, the 2002-2004 reboot. It was a post 9/11 world, and so anti-terrorism and like basically a lot of the xenophobia that we see now, like sort of like in the same level. At some point in the show, because they're fighting against Cylons who look like humans, at some point they find a planet which they want to call New Caprica. They live there, but then here comes the human-looking Cylons, and they take over, and so they essentially have to work with the Cylons, but all the meanwhile, there's a lot of like the core cast members who are rebels or insurgents, as they're called, just like in the Iraqi war kind of terminology, and fighting against the Cylons, and also the people who are regular human citizens who have to wear masks because they're out rounding up some of these insurrectionists. Dude, that is, I can't tell you how many times we've seen that in the show. Why? Because it's such an obvious thing. When you see it, you can call it for what it is. And the fact that people just live in this sort of like cognitive dissonance is just mind blowing, man.
Let's bring it down back to earth and back to reality. Let's talk about another incident that happened here. Did you see this one?
No, this one I haven't seen, man.
We're first ones. We're Native American. We're the first ones. Oh, perfect. Perfect,
Once you heard him
Tom.
talk, once you heard that they're
What are
First Nation,
you?
I don't need to see ID.
What are
I don't
you?
need
Are
to see
you an
ID.
American citizen? No, you're not. You're not a firstborn. You're not from this land. And neither are you. Not from this fucking land. Got you on live.
Have a good day. They harass 3 patrol cars, 3 border patrol, 3 officers.
And your
2 older
skin is
ladies.
brown as ours, fucker.
I love that.
We didn't cross the border crossed us. Get the fuck out of
I
here.
saw that one.
I like that
You saw
line.
that one?
I just saw that one like
So-
yesterday or
Three of
today.
you.
Okay, so here's for me the reality, because I live in the city of Bell
Fucking my
Gardens, which is
son
right next to
died, and this
Downey.
is what you do?
A lot of this stuff, this profiling was happening there, and I kept on getting notifications through watch groups that are on Instagram, but also through friends. I have a friend, a coworker, and she started posting like all of these notices, and when they were hitting up the Home Depots, because that's where a lot of migrant workers go to get or what we call day laborers. They go to Home Depot, and so sure enough, they were rounding them up there. And so one of the things that scared me was my son's on the spectrum. He's 21 now. And he likes to go for these long walks through Bell Gardens, sometimes goes into Downey. It's his exercise. It's his stress relief. It's his routine. It's what he does. He wants to go. And he puts on his headphones and he listens to music and he just goes walking, minds his own business. And so I've had to I've had to tell him, hey, and I'm glad I have it. I had to tell him, like, take your, make sure that you not only take your ID, but also take your passport ID card. When you get a passport, you can get both a booklet which is the common thing you see, right? The booklet is what everybody has.
Yeah.
But you can also get an ID card that is a passport card, and that's typically
is that the Nexus or Nexum, something like that?
no, but that's you. But it makes you qualify for Nexus. That it's part of that. But this card, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to be easy or to carry than your booklet if you do a lot of traveling within the country, not out of the country, and so it lets you board inside. You tap it on the like whatever, and it'll let you through the gate or whatever. So it's a lot easier. It's just more convenience, right? But that thing now is essential for any Hispanic, Latino who is American to have, because just like the real ID, that has been it validates your birth certificate, it validates your social security card, and if you have that, you're able to show that. But I worry now because my son doesn't know how to react. Like if the shoes were turned, or I should say not shoes, but if he was in that situation, the same one that guy was, where he's being held up against, I have no idea how my son would respond to that and what would happen to him. He's a bigger kid. He's a little overweight, and he's a big kid, but he's a softie. He's not, but unfortunately he's not going to know how to respond. So I worry about him. So I don't let him even go for walks anymore.
Have you
don't let him go for walks? Yeah, we talked.
He knows.
He knows. He understands. Like, he's higher functioning and on the spectrum, but he does every day go with a caseworker out into the community. They do they go to the movies. They do just regular stuff. It's all for him engaging in the community. It's one of those things that he gets to do. But he knows, always take his ID, and he knows that these things are real. And so he's watched the videos. We've talked about them. Okay. My mom and my dad, on the other hand, I worry about them because they are documented. They have their legal residence, thankfully. So they got their green card. But I mean, you're hearing stories of even legal residences being harassed. And
100%.
And so, they go shopping all the time. They do stuff. They go to Ross. They, they're older. And so I make sure that they take their green cards with them. So they have those, but I still worry for them. I still worry.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. And it's a fact. It's happening. And they're targeting us entirely. And it's sad. It's worrisome. It's like, I thought this was over, but I guess not. I guess it's a cycle. It comes around every couple of years. We've had the Mexican the Mexican Repatriation Act. Repatriation. Yeah, you got it. Okay, you know why? Repatriation Act. There you go. 1929, 1936.
It's Patriation. That's repatriation. Yes.
Yeah. We have the Zoot riots. Yeah. We have the Zoot riots of 1943. We have Operation Wetbag in 1954. The raids from 1981 to 1989.
Operation Wetbag?
Yeah. We got Prop 187.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one. Yeah.
And now we have the ICE raids. That's what I have. That's something that I posted. I'm putting it up again so you guys can see it. But this is all the stuff that they keep targeting. And that's not even adding...
That goes around, though. Like,
that's not even adding the eminent domain of Chavez Ravine. When they took that, that's not even adding that.
So Dodger Stadium used to be it was located on land that was a community for a lot of Latinos. And they ended up. They tried to buy the land. A lot of people didn't want to go, so they ended up taking it through eminent domain. So people got paid for it, but it was like
pennies on
the dollar. And this was back in what? When was it? Like 1940?
1945, 40. No, like a little bit after the war, like 1948. I think it is. Now, the funny part is, well, not the funny part, but the sad part is, so they said, "Oh, we are going to be building new low-income homes in the area. That's why we have to kick everybody out." They used that pretext to get everyone out. Then they waited a couple of months. They're like, "Oh, well, that deal fell through. We're going to sell it to someone else to make our money back." And they sold it to the developers of Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
That's great.
It's wonderful. And then also right now, it kind of sucks that there's so many Hispanic Latinos out there that are big fans of the Dodgers, including yours truly and my son and all that. And it's kind of a slap on the face that they have not come out to condemn the ICE raids right now. They have not said anything. As a matter of fact, their parking lot is being used by Homeland Security for staging areas right now. Yeah. Not entirely, and that's like not 100% all of it, but they are using it because it is a focal point of LA.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So, okay, so how do we get to this point? LA has a large Hispanic community, and also on a political level, LA has been one of the prominent sanctuary cities. And so, Donald Trump has had a very, just like the Eye of Sauron in Lord of the Rings, his eyes fixed on California, because California is such a dichotomy for him in that, on one hand, we are the richest state and the richest producer. We pay the most taxes. What's the euphemism that's used? We're a donor state. Is that what it's called? Donor or a lend? I forget the name, but essentially a lot of our taxes go into paying for other states that don't produce the same level of money that we do, because
are we one of the largest contributors of the nation?
We are the largest.
We have
two main ports, but one of the largest one, which is Long Beach. We have two large metropolitan cities that have primarily big businesses. Like we have Hollywood here, and up north we have Silicon Valley. We have a lot of other industries.
We have agriculture, huge
absolutely. The whole breadbasket. A large percentage of our farmlands go and feed not just the rest of the country, but other countries as well.
And we also have Enrique's favorite adult film.
Yeah. No. Anyways, so a lot of money comes in, a lot of money goes out, and so I imagine Donald Trump, doesn't like Gavin Newsom, and there's a lot of complaints we can give him, but I'm tell you what, I'm kind of like, we gotta weigh
the lesser of two evils.
Yes and no. I mean, we still hold his nose to the grindstone.
Yes, we do.
We have to, because I want our leaders to be better. But I'm going to tell you what, when it comes to choices, and I'm tired of this, like, oh well, both sides suck. I don't want to. No. I hate that discussion. I think it's such a cop out, because yeah, sure, both sides suck, but you know what? Nevertheless, we need to make a choice. And right now, Gavin Newsom is closer to representing how I feel about this stuff than obviously Donald Trump is, and so I'm good with that.
That's a shock. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so where we're at right now, though, is it looks like National Guard is being pulled back, because I guess just recently. I think by today noontime, which would be Friday, it's already after. The National Guard reverted back to control of Gavin Newsom. Has been any update as of this time that you know about?
Yes, there was. The Trump administration has appealed, and they're waiting on that. As of the moment, it's not a done deal, because it's been put on pause until this is clarified. So.
But the injunction basically means that right now the National Guard is in
Trump's control.
Well, no, it's actually in limbo.
Yeah, but
because they have to, because the order was for them to stop until to stop. And so right now the National Guard can't really deploy, so they're just basically laying around in places where they weren't even prepared for it. From what I heard, they don't have enough water, they don't have enough food, they don't have enough.
Yeah, there's a picture. I don't have it, but I'm gonna try to find it, post it right here. There's a picture of them in some subway or something, metro station, where they're just lying on the floor because there's nowhere for them to sleep. Yeah. They're just waiting on standby. It's terrible.
Yeah. So, and I mean, ultimately, we have the law on our side on that one. In terms of a governor needs to be the one that requests that help. They need to deploy it. And right now, what's the statute that Trump is relying on? Is it the Insurrection Act?
I believe so.
Yeah, and so the Insurrection Act gives him and Pete Hegseth, our defense secretary,
that guy
gives him the powers to use the military in these ways. But here's the thing: if you look at the bullet points of what it would take to activate these powers, we're not there. Right now, these protests are not in any way trying to take over the city. They're not trying to usurp any power from any governmental body. They're not. They're not attacking the federal buildings. They're trying to get answers. And so, and for the most part, people are just convening together for community.
Yeah.
And now you're always going to have jerks who are opportunists. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. There's a few. For instance, let me see.
Did you see the one for Apple?
Look at this one. Look at this one here. If it loads.
So just give me a little. What happened in this one?
They broke into a watch place and they started taking like the jewelry place and started taking everything
and
out.
look at that. You can tell like it's like young guys who are just jerks. I mean,
they're not part of the protest.
They're not at all part of the protest. They just have they just saw an opportunity. Same thing with the Apple store. There was this video, and I wish I had it, but basically this guy or this group of people ran in to do the smash and grab, but the thing with the Apple store is obviously they're going to have some technology. The door's locked, so there's people stuck inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at these guys. Those were opportunists. They're not protesters.
No, not at all.
These guys are trying to steal, and
this guy takes off, and then no, you don't, mofo.
Yeah, look at that. And the guy's gonna get caught, and
down.
that's it. Yeah, they got him, and rightfully so. Honestly, no sympathy for those guys. Now, I'm not with Miami.
And that's the only time that I can say police brutality is A-okay.
Okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm not even going to joke about that because that's messed up.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was about to say, like in Miami, you heard the guy who comes out, like, there was this, he's like the sheriff or like the main cop, and that's the guy. Yeah, thank you.
I did my homework for this one.
Dude, but press play. I want to see it. Or is it just a picture?
It's just a picture.
All right, so this guy is basically reading all these bullet points, and essentially he says that if you spit, like one of the lines he says is if you spit on the cops,
you'll end up in the hospital and then jail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then where's the one where he says you'll end up dead?
No, he didn't say dead. He said if you strike us, you will be run over, and then we'll notify your next of kin.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, sounds like you'll be dead to me, but you're right. I appreciate the nuance there.
He was very dramatic, the little bitch.
Yeah, and so that's exactly sort of the energy that has been, provided by our administration. And so I remember a few years ago we were talking about the temperature and how like words matter and they're setting the tone and there were, like at the time in the news you could easily see people deflecting like the sort of like words that people are using, like, no, it's not going to incite violence and blah blah blah. It's like, no, dude, yes it is. Donald Trump absolutely inspired madness amongst his people. He made it okay. He told every time you see a lady like a Karen yell out like, go back to your country, you don't belong here,
she feels
that was Donald Trump making it okay. And now all the people below him, like all his choice people, he found all the right people to basically go along with him, and they are all basically telling everybody it's okay.
Yeah.
So what was quiet is now out loud.
Speaking of quiet and out loud, have you seen what some of these so-called conservatives are saying out on Twitter, aka fascism?
Oh, tweets? Can I read some of them?
Sure. Go ahead.
So let me read first one.
First say who it is.
So, I hate Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is a piece of trash. He's part of the Daily Wire.
Trash.
He's part of the Daily Wire, like Ben Shapiro posse. Man, this guy's trash. Anyways, he goes, ban all third world immigration, legal or illegal. There should be a moratorium on all immigration for the third world. We've reached our capacity. We cannot be the world's soup kitchen anymore. Can this guy be any more trashy? Oh, guy, Charlie Kirk. I hate this guy too. This guy just it's time to ban third world immigration, legal or illegal. We've reached our limit and we have a huge cultural, educational, housing, financial, and essential services problem to fix now because of it. We need a net zero immigration moratorium with a ban on all third worlders.
It's funny to me how all of a sudden we're running out of resources, yet the rich are getting richer. The corporations are getting more land and more everything else. But it's the immigrants' fault. It's the third worlders, as he calls it.
It's always that's always going to be the playbook, though. Look,
your descendant James Kirk is offended by you, Charles.
James Kirk. Wait, the guy from Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yes.
This is so stupid. Anyways, all right, so Jack Poso. Anyways, it's time they're all saying the same thing. It's time to ban third world immigration, legal or illegal. We've reached our limit and we have a huge cultural, educational, housing, financial, and essential services problem. Move your finger to fix now because of it. We need a net zero immigration moratorium with ban. It's the same thing that the other guy said. This is all the same thing. What's going on?
It's the funny, that's what I wanted to point out. Doesn't it seem kind of funny that they use the same verbiage, just a little tweaked here and there?
Yeah, it's
Like they're all getting it from the same basis.
yeah, of course they are, man. They have a playbook. It's all part of their, what is it, Project 2025?
Yeah.
It's all part of that. But it's also
the one that they denied that they knew anything about. That's the one.
and so here's the thing. This sort of anti-alien, they're the dude. This is as old as any empire.
Oh yeah.
And Nazi, like all of the Hitler Nazi propaganda against the Jewish people was that they were stealing, the resources. They had all the money. They controlled all the media. That, any unfair practice that you felt as a German was because of the Nazis. I'm sorry, because of the Jews. And so what did they do? They rounded up all the Jews and they killed them. So, dude, we always back up and let bad people do horrible things because we believe that the illegal alien is always out to steal our stuff.
Yeah.
Such an old thing to like fall back on, and yet we fall for it every single time.
The Ottoman Empire versus the Byzantine Empire, same thing happened. They did atrocities to each other. It's usually what's weird? It's like it's I guess it's hold on a minute. Isaac is telling me right now that there's actually a protest starting right here on Central Park here in Whittier.
Okay.
You want to go take a quick video real quick?
Yeah, I was asking if you want to go, if you want me to go right now or you want to go afterward.
Do you want to go together? We can wait, but I just want to see if you can get some video real quick.
Go capture some video, and because hey, we can have some playing right here, right now.
It's up to you.
And
if you want to wait, we can do it afterwards, and I can just plug it in.
Yeah, you can.
Don't start.
It is kind of far.
Okay, then we'll go afterwards. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, isn't it funny? Like I was going to say for my point, I don't know if it's is it human nature? Hear me out. Are you friends with your neighbors, or do you have like animosity with some of them?
That's a great question. I am not friends with my neighbors. I mean, okay, the next door neighbors to my right, they're perfectly fine people now. We've had issues in the past. Mostly it was suspicions, but they've been nothing but nice to us over the years, and we've been nice to them when we can. But we're just not integrated in any meaningful way.
In my old neighborhood, where my mom and my sister still live, we were friends with all our neighbors. We were all chummy. We were on first name basis. We would take care of each other's homes. It was great.
Sounds nice.
In the neighborhood that I'm in now, though, we don't really talk to our neighbors. I mean, there's one lady that takes care of our cat once in a while. She seems nice. There's a couple that say hi to me once in a while. Everyone keeps to themselves. Everyone is suspicious of each other. I live in a duplex. The neighbors in front of us, and they are very rude. They don't really deal with us. My point being is this. Isn't it weird that usually throughout human history, it's usually two countries that are close to each other that are always at war? India and Persia. Germany and everywhere. France and England. Portugal and Spain. And I can go on and on. Like Mexico and United States, we've always been at odds. Is that in our human nature just to be upset with anyone in our proximity? Is it like, are we like territorial?
Well, yeah, of course, man. I mean, dude, that's hunter-gatherer mentality. Like,
yeah,
you're always going to, when we all decided to create a federation of sorts, like a community, we're always going to worry about the other. I mean, dude, every compelling TV series is in some way retelling this story. I mean, can you imagine in our genetic history when we were, we had a leader who, protected us. We had roles in our community, hunters and gatherers and people who cleaned and essentially took care of each other. And then suddenly we would see an outsider, and would we welcome that outsider in? Probably not. We'd be afraid of them because, one, it would be again attack on our resources.
A doppelganger.
Well, they'd be an attack on our resources. They would be potentially somebody who's coming in to hurt us and kill us in some way, and take what we have. And so wars would start that way. I mean, you see it even in the chimpanzee community. That whole war.
Yeah.
Well, that whole war that happened. That Jane Goodall documented.
Yeah.
A lot of it,
which was amazing. What was the name of it? Jesus Christ! I know what you're talking about. That was amazing.
Well, we
Sorry.
talked about it before in the podcast, and
Yeah.
I mean, this was before video, but it'd be great to show some
Yeah,
footage of it
that's
here.
why I want to know.
And maybe right here you'll see the name of it with maybe some footage that Angel will find.
Or maybe just a picture of Enrique and me as gorilla.
Okay, that would be really bad. So, it started because like the way most wars begin, they begin with an ascension, like somebody with power, another person wanting to take it, and then of course eventually it's about resource and property. Dude, the tale is old as time. Look at the Bible. What is one of the commandments? Thou shalt love thy neighbor. Like why was that an important thing to put into our commandments? Because even then they knew that the neighbor, while we're trying to build civilizations, if you don't love your neighbor, you're going to be at war with them. Yeah. So then God would mandate you to love your neighbor. It doesn't mean like, hey buddy, how's it going next door? It means like your societal neighbor. Makes sense to me.
In the words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along?
Clearly, no.
No,
the answer is
certainly
no.
not.
We cannot.
Not. I don't know. It's like you've mentioned a bunch of times. This is the darkest timeline. I don't even know how else to say it. It's so frustrating. I have so many videos and stuff that I've saved that I don't even want to cover because it just makes me angry of all these things. But just let me just say real quick. This one.
Then this secretary
So-
and chairman in our department.
How will the deployment last?
We stated very publicly that it's 60 days because we want to ensure that those rioters, looters, and thugs on the other side assaulting our police officers know that we're not going anywhere. We're here to maintain the peace on behalf of law enforcement officers.
They want to be here for
in Los
60 days.
Angeles, which Gavin Newsom won't do.
What is the estimated cost of the deployment for the Guard and the Marines to LA, and where's this funding coming from? Will it be coming from quality of life programs that affect our service members or our families? If you want to wait till I finish.
Before I hand it to
such as updates, housing and barracks.
Before I hand it to Bryn, the insinuation that we're pulling money from housing and barracks in order to fund this is disingenuous and incorrect. Bryn can give you the numbers, absolutely.
Brent can give you the numbers. He doesn't even have the information.
Of course he doesn't. They never do. I can't tell you how many of these hearings where they're asked those very specific questions and they do not have the answer.
No.
They don't have the numbers, and sometimes they're outright wrong. Like what's her name? Is it Pat Bondi who's the one who keeps on showing up at these ICE raids?
No. That's what's her face? The other one, the brunette.
Man,
the pain in the ass,
I
the
don't even
blanker.
remember these people's names anymore.
Kristen something or other.
Yeah, so she like one of the there was one I guess there was one of those hearings where they ask her, do you know like what I forget which amendment it was, and she had no idea. She didn't know what it was. And
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and so when they told her what it was, she was like, let me get back to you. It's like they don't know. I mean, how like, and that's fine. Look, it's fine if you don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm here to like thank you for giving me a
100%.
platform, and thanks Angel for giving me this platform. But there's a lot of things I don't know, but I have a lot of opinions about this stuff, and so I'll talk about them. But I'm gonna tell you what I do though when I'm done talking. I'll go back and I'll look it up.
Christy Noam, that's her name.
Christy Noam. I'll go back and try to find the name. Because that matters to me. It matters to me that the things that I'm saying that they're correct, and if they're not, I want to hear where I'm not correct. And so, dude, just like anybody else, I'm going to be resistant to certain ideas because we all have this like built-in sort of like BS meter, and the BS meter, by the way, isn't the same for all of us because there's no such thing as a universal BS. Like what I think is BS could be the absolute truth for Angel, and that's fine. Again, this is the love thy neighbor thing, right?
The Earth is flat.
Okay, you're going too far, bro.
Yeah, I can't back that one up. I'm sorry.
And so basically my point is that I go back and try to find this stuff out so that I can be correct, or I could be wrong and then correct it. Because dude, like I need to like, but I'll tell you what, when someone outright like maliciously comes with information and their whole point is to win an argument and their whole point is to subjugate people in some certain way or cast them in a terrible light, that's when I cannot see you eye to eye anymore. I can't do it. And so obviously we all have red lines. We all do. We should. We should all have red lines. And so that's where I'm at right now. Right now, dude, I'm just like so at my limit on this stuff, man. Just
Tell me about it. I'm angry, dude. I am. We usually do like we've been doing lately breaks for promos for our friends and stuff. Not this time. This time we're actually gonna be doing a break just to vomit all the videos that I've included because I don't want to go through them all. They just make me too angry and too sad. So it's just gonna be like 4 videos real quick, and then we'll be right back after that. All right. Thanks, man.
Get down! Get down!
Oh! Oh, he got fucked. Oh! Fuck yeah! Oh my god, he got fucked. Oh, he's fucked. Gotcha, bitch!
Alright, I just got to Sepulveda and Manchester, and ICE just came and picked up a fruit stand vendor and a bunch of workers at the car wash by LAX. The car wash is completely empty. So they're picking up regular daytime workers, having their shit abandoned here. The poor man got tased, which we have on video. This cart was abandoned and there are knives in there. How is that making LA safer? Can anyone tell me how an abandoned fruit cart with knives, which a vendor uses to make people fruit bowls, is making LA safer? Why?
You've been criticized for having a double standard with the president pardoning all these people who attacked police officers on January 6th in his first day in office. How do you answer that criticism?
Well, this is very different. These are people out there hurting people in California right now. This is ongoing, no longer. We're going to protect them. We're going to do everything we can to prosecute violent criminals in California. California is burning. These people are waving Mexican flags, yet they don't want anyone to go back to Mexico. They're burning American flags. This is the United States of America, and we're going to protect Americans. We're going to protect all citizens out there.
I do not have to listen to you. This is the property of the church. This is Downey Memorial Christian Church, and we are not okay with you being on our property. All right? We are not okay with you being on our property. All right? All your
Yo estuve en la Torre Trump cuando decía el presidente electo Donald Trump estaba 16 días de tomar protesta por primera vez como presidente, asumir el cargo. Y yo dije, si hacemos el muro, sí lo pagamos, pero lo hacemos con el mapa de México en 1830. Este es lo que era Estados Unidos en 1830. Y esto era parte de México, no era todo México. Si ustedes pueden ver, quizás un tercio, mínimo una cuarta parte del territorio norteamericano era parte de México hasta 1846. Fuimos despojados de estos territorios. Nosotros estábamos asentados ahí antes que la nación hoy conocida como Estados Unidos. Los tratados de Guadalupe Hidalgo establecen derechos para la gente asentada en esos territorios que no se respetaron. La ciudad de Nuevo Laredo, Laredo era una ciudad mexicana, y la ciudad de Nuevo Laredo se formó con los mexicanos que vivían en Laredo y que no quisieron quedar del lado de los Estados Unidos y se vinieron a lo que es territorio nacional. Con esta geografía, ¿cómo puede hablar de liberar Los Ángeles y California el gobierno de Estados Unidos? ¿Liberarlos de quién? Los mexicanos y mexicanas que están asentados en ese lugar están asentados en lo que ha sido su patria. Dos nombres no engañan. El idioma que más se habla en Los Ángeles es español. No necesitas hablar inglés para estar en Los Ángeles. Y estamos en la situación actual. Esto es parte de Estados Unidos. Sí, el gobierno de Estados Unidos tiene derecho a instrumentar las medidas que considere migratorias convenientes, ciertamente, pero no tiene derecho a violentar la dignidad de las personas migrantes. No tiene derecho a separar las familias, no tiene derecho a someterlos al sufrimiento, a la persecución, al acoso. No tiene derecho a violar la ley que el propio gobierno de Estados Unidos y el pueblo de Estados Unidos se dio.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Ouchcast Squid Squad.
I say that wall, building that wall. That's funny. I obviously I'm not for building that wall because California, Texas, we're all part of America.
Did you see the other proposition some people are saying about us separating, annexing from the United States? And they're saying that it's Washington, Oregon, and us.
The secession talk,
that thing has been ridiculous. Remember a couple years ago when they were trying to sign a petition for us to secede from the United States?
It's stupid. I know. Look, man,
they don't really think about it. The infrastructure would be destroyed. The military would be destroyed. Everything would be. I mean, it sounds good on theory, like it would be a wonderful thing. We'd be like, yeah, but it's not possible. We're the United States. Come on. As much as I despise our government, we are American. We are the United States of America.
Well, if you think about it, geopolitically speaking, it wouldn't be the first time, a country has been split in half in some way. It happened, it happened to Germany. It happened to, it happens. You have countries that split, and then later on you have like 100 years of war trying to bring it back in, but it won't. It's not. We're not there.
Look at Russia and Ukraine right now.
That's
what's going on. The whole thing. But we're not getting pin on that.
And so the other video you
here's
showed.
one that I'm gonna show.
Yeah, go for it.
Alex Padilla, Senator Alex Padilla of California.
This is the madness that we're existing in now, and I can't believe it.
This is not 1940s Germany. This is just happened 3 days ago from this recording.
Right.
Here we go.
I have a question for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen willing criminals that you're rotating on your head off.
Hands behind your back.
And then here's the other side.
If you let my hands go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat. Other hand, sir. Other hand. There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here for FBI, right?
So this is an elected representative in the state of California in his office building. There is a press conference with what's her name?
Kristi Noem.
Yeah, the border Barbie is what they're calling her. I think I forget that name, but
aren't they calling her Taco Bell?
I have no idea, dude. She was in Huntington Park. Like, in full battle gear, along with what's his name?
Dr. Phil.
I hate that piece of filth, man.
Phil, look, I'm going to mention it right here and then tag him. Dr. Phil, you are a piece of human garbage. Mm-hmm. You are worse than bum fights. That's all I'm saying.
He's worse than bum fights?
Remember he had bum fights on, and then the creator of bum fights, and he went on there with his head shaved looking just like Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil got angry that he came like that. He's like,
I never saw
I'm
that.
not taking you serious. You got to get out of my show. And he's like, I'm just trying to prove a point. You're doing exactly the same thing that we're doing with bum fights.
That's funny.
Can you
play that
BS.
right here?
No,
please?
but I could play it right here.
Oh, man, I got to see that when I get home. So, Alex Padilla, man, he's a representative, and here he is being, tackled to the ground. And now there's some questions. I mean, in terms of like how, because I haven't seen any footage of the lead up to him, like yelling. I can see where a scenario where people are like, well, why is he yelling? Did he announce, hey, I'm a senator or representative of California? And basically that building is in his community. That's the community he represents, right?
He did. I'll try to find the other video where they show it from the actual camera being recorded.
Because
he comes out and he's like, excuse me, I have a couple of questions.
So check
and then
this
start
out.
Pushing him out.
I want you to hear what the piece of crap Ben Shapiro says about this thing. Let's see if you guys can hear it.
Back to Alex Padilla. Let's be clear. Democrats are all looking for attention right now. Everything is about attention seeking. If you think of Democrats at this point as a series of 5-year-olds who are desperate for mommy's attention, then their behavior starts to make a lot more sense. Like a lot more sense. Whether it is Cory Booker filibustering for 24 hours for no reason whatsoever. And the entire Democratic press going insane.
For no reason whatsoever.
Hero of the moment, shouting at President Trump, taking out his angry eyes.
Yelling.
And then giving you the full Spartacus. or whether you're talking about AOC and her fake
Stop, because I don't
arrests
want to get in
from
trouble.
a couple of years ago.
Okay, so there's this part. He basically.
I'm
the
sorry,
part
Ben
that I wanna
Shapiro.
play-
Ben Shapiro's a
That's fine, but here's
piece
the.
of shit.
Agreed. I agree. When I listened to him, this was like post, like Hillary Clinton, Trump winning. I kind of wanted to understand where the right was coming from, and at the time, he was a lot more. He's always been super conservative, but his messaging was a lot more palatable because he understood the base at the time. Like this was like right before Gamergate. By the way, Gamergate will go down in history as a turning point for our American society, believe it or not, in which a lot of our youths became weaponized against, any type of liberalism, and people will say that proudly because you've turned liberalism into a bad word.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, Ben Shapiro's messaging was a lot more palatable, and it was and he was easier to understand because he provided a perspective that Glenn Beck didn't provide, because Glenn Beck was he basically was a wannabe Rush Limbaugh, and Rush Limbaugh is a terrible, like horrible person. He was
rotten hell.
But as it went on, Ben Shapiro's podcast grew so big, he became more emboldened, and now he runs a media empire because he makes movies as well. His whole thing is he's attacking the culture wars because he knows that is where you will win in hearts and minds of conservatives, and so he's absolutely integral to the current fan base surrounding people like Trump and conservatism. He's made it okay for young guys, like people who are a little bit older than Isaac here, to feel heard through this fake machismo, because for the past 15 years, this idea of maledom has been attacked, that, we can't be guys. And so they've come around and say, no, we can be guys. We're men. Long story short, Ben Shapiro was easier to listen to before because he provided perspective, and now he's just the worst. The way he describes the Padilla situation is that Padilla comes in yelling and screaming, and he makes it sound like if he was being all crazy, and so it was, the response was reasonable. And then he goes off and says that afterwards, what's her name did talk to him after, because he wasn't arrested. He was let go pretty quickly, supposedly. I don't know that for a fact. I think maybe you can fill in the gaps on that one. But when it comes down to it,
Alex Padilla was held. He was not arrested, but they did hold him. Now they're trying to spin it. They're trying to say that it wasn't the case, that he did not identify himself. He clearly did. There's video out there from the press conference from a third party that was actually the press recording, and he goes, "Excuse me, I'm a senator," and they still pushed him out.
Yeah.
Here is Mike Dickface response to the whole situation.
I think the senator's actions, my view is it was wildly inappropriate. You don't charge a sitting cabinet secretary.
Let's do it again.
They literally have
everybody
like dick
can draw
names.
their own conclusions. You can see it's a heated debate here. I'm not going to respond to that. Let me just hold on. Wait just a second. I think the American people can draw their own conclusions.
Because he's lying.
Yeah, look at his eyes blink.
Wildly inappropriate. I'll leave it at that. So.
He can't even stare straight at people.
No.
This guy's like completely sold himself to the devil,
just
man.
to hold power, he's doing all this. That's him. Now it's funny how all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh my God, yeah, he lunged. It was out of order." Yet the fucking Neanderthal, Marjorie Taylor, ugly face, butch-bodied blonde bitch, can actually go and scream and harass and do all the stuff that she does, and it's okay. Or what's the name of the other one? The brunette, Gabby, whatever Tolser, whatever her name is.
Gabby Tolser.
Did I get it right? Wow, I got it right, and I didn't know. Yeah, freaking getting little handsies in Beetlejuice, and it's okay, right?
Well, okay, so I remember it was during one of the State of the Union addresses that Biden put on, and wasn't she yelling out liar?
Liar. She stood up and she's screaming and pointing at him, saying liar, and just heckling him the whole time. But that's okay. That's okay. That's the double standard that makes me so angry. That's why I quit the Republican Party. Trump destroyed it. It still makes me angry that I'm not part of that no more. But
I mean, I know you've said it before, but I still don't believe it. You a Republican? That's silly.
You want me to show you the?
I don't. You don't have to show me, because then I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pee on you. I will pee on you.
In that case, I am going to show you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's a sick.
I was Republican for years. I stopped. Asked my wife. She saw me when I had to change over to.
So fine. Okay, I'll accept it. But truly, when were you like actual like a Republican of conscience? Like, in what way did it?
I voted Republican.
But how did it line up? Okay, so during let's say I don't know, George Bush era.
I voted for George Bush.
Well, I mean,
actually, I also voted for Mitt Romney.
And Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I also voted
John McCain.
I wholeheartedly wish John McCain.
John McCain was on the same level in for conservatism as Bernie Sanders is for liberalism.
Yeah, and I really wish John McCain would have been it, but he chose that moron, like that Trump light Sarah Palin.
Yeah,
and that was his downfall. He should not have chosen her.
That pandering.
Yeah. Also, Howard Dean, remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, man. What does that tell you about our politics? And that is what derailed him. That whole screaming thing.
But it was a different time, though. If that would happen now, it would not be the same.
No, not at all.
It doesn't. It
was so popular.
As long as he kisses the orange turd, he'd be still in there. You know. That's the funny part. Now,
do you remember Dave Chappelle making fun of that Howard Dean thing? Like, Mwah!
Yeah,
Mwah!
Classic. Anyway, but yeah, nowadays it's all gone to crap. To like, I'm not even gonna get started. Did you see that he was at the Les Miserables and they were screaming at him? Felon?
Well, it was like mixed, like depending on what you're. Some of them were clapping.
Yeah.
And booing. That's funny.
There was also drag queens there.
Rapist.
Yeah, she calls them out, man. There was also.
Well, what do you think was going to happen? You go to like musical theater. You think that they're going to be on your side? There were people that were clapping for him.
There were some. I'm not gonna say no.
So the video that CNN shows, it's a center shot.
Yeah,
and you can hear the clapping louder than you can hear the boos.
Yeah.
So obviously there's going to be videos that show like, and people can make the case
depending
that
on the location of the people
the
and around them.
clapping was louder than the booing. But the fact is, people were booing him.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, and it was loud enough that you could hear it. I mean, period. So
well, if you remember when he was on the campaign trail and he went to, I think it was a football event or something. He came out to wave at everyone from one of the boxes.
Right.
There's a picture of everyone who's right below him is pointing at him, pointing the middle finger at him.
That's great.
It's a great picture, and you can see the defeat in his face. Because the thing is, Donnie, I know for a fact you want to be loved. I know that your father mistreated you, and you're looking for that dad. You have daddy issues. Let's be honest. You want to be praised, and now you're just angry that no one wants to praise you. It's sad, really sad. But the funnier part to me is when they asked him the question, Mr. President, who do you think you identify with more, Valjean, Jean Valjean, or Javert? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, honey, that's a very good question, honey. I'll have you answer that." To Melania, and Melania's just looking at him like, whatever, He's like, "I don't know. Both are very good. I don't know." It's like he can't even answer a simple question like that because, of course, honestly, he doesn't know. He doesn't know who's what. You can't go with the hero or the villain of the story. I mean, dude, you're just. Do you make any choices now? Do you make any choices? There's also this one.
France and Macron, who's a good man. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We're celebrating World War II, our victory." I said, "Your victory? Your victory? Tell me about that." And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. Someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that, He said, "We lost 51 million people and we were your ally. And now everybody hates Russia and they love Germany and Japan." I said, "Let's explain that sometime."
Now, let me explain that. The guy is not the sharpest tool in the box. I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say Russia as a country lost 51 million. He's not trying to say Putin himself was in power back then. But the way he worded it, the way he tries to simplify it in his moronic brain, that's how it comes out. That he's saying, oh yeah, Putin lost 51 million. That's not really what he's saying. But still, it's like, that's embarrassing. He can't even have a straight conversation. He's worse at talking than I am. That's sad. I don't know.
All right, so I asked ChatGPT to write a 5-line monologue of himself, of Trump comparing himself to Javert from Les Miserables, and I don't do a very good Trump impression. I don't know if you can do it, but this is actually pretty hilarious, dude. You got to read that; it's funny. ChatGPT AI, you know what? Thank you for existing.
People say I'm like Javier, no Javert from Les Miserables. Very strong, very law and order. He chases criminals just like I've chasing fake news. Tremendous effort, believe me. This is actually pretty good, actually, I gotta say it. But I got more heart, more charisma. Javert couldn't win an election, folks. Sad. He's obsessed with rules. I make the rules. That's leadership. In the end, even you can handle the truth, I thrive on it. Like no one else, believe me.
Dude, when AI can clown you that well, dude, you are a cartoon character. You are a cartoon character. Oh, Donald Trump.
That guy.
Sad.
I had a video. I think I deleted it, but I'll try to post it really quick before we go.
Oh, man.
I have a video where he's always talking about how he knows more about any subject he's talking about than anyone else in the history of that time period.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so pathological and so just. Why does he always have to act like he's the expert of everything when he doesn't know shit?
Well, there's just like right now what you showed about the Donald Trump talking about Putin in World War II. He was didn't he just recently have a guy from Germany?
Oh yes,
come in, and then
I have that too.
If you can play that, because he basically says something along the lines of like,
saved you.
He said, well, the line that got me was, he goes, today's June, I forget what the day, he was a pretty sad day for Germany, right? You guys.
Here it is. I actually did it.
I'm here, Mr. President, to talk with you later on how we could contribute to that goal. And we all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terrible war to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow.
June 6th.
This is D-Day anniversary.
Terrible day for you. Terrible day.
Ended
so that's
war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant. Well, in the long run, Mr. President, this was the liberation of my country from Nazi dictatorship.
It's true.
And we know what we
come on.
But this is the reason why I'm saying that America is again in a very strong position to do something on this war and ending this war. So let's talk about what we can do jointly, and we are ready to do what we can. And you know that we give support to Ukraine.
No, he keeps on like, that's the thing. This guy keeps on.
The European Union did, and we should talk about.
Like he's clowning him. If you listen to it, this is political clowning. It's great.
But the thing is, Trump is so dunce that he does not realize he's being clowned.
Because of tariffs and other things, a lot of things.
This guy's calling him a fascist, basically.
Some of the best numbers we've ever had. They were reported yesterday, the day before, and even today. The country is doing really well. I think that one of the things you'd be most interested in is that 6 months ago we were having a hard time getting anybody to join our military. I mean, they just couldn't do it. The numbers were record low. We couldn't get people to join the military. It wasn't me. This was before I got there.
That's the one that always makes me laugh. It's not me. It's
6
Biden.
months ago, a year ago, the numbers were record low. You couldn't get them to join. That included the police. And
well, why would you include the police? Like,
we just hit the highest number in the history of our country. We think
always the history of our country. Always.
Well, remember the best bill? He just recently said called
Big Beautiful Bill.
He called it the best bill that the country's ever in. In my head, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what about the Bill of Rights? What about the Second Amendment? The Second Amendment was a bill that was written.
And it's a wonderful one too.
You know, the Constitution was something the Americans wrote. Best thing because it gave us our freedoms. Like.
in our country. And
You know, I get the salesmanship of it all, but man, at some point, like, this is the clown we've nominated, and we put like here's the thing: it wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't mind so much like that we have a clown in our, you know, in our highest level of government, but it's that there are genuine people who believe him to be a savior and a saint who's going to save them. That's the thing that gets me. And then when you see all the people below him, sycophants, like you can tell the diehards, you know, Stephen Miller and that guy's scary guy.
He looks like a pedophile.
Dude, of course he is, man. That guy's a piece of. Well, anyways,
so
here's the thing, like they like the diehard Trumpists, like he is. You know, like in the line in Game of Thrones that Little Bird, what's his name, says that, you know, that
Littlefinger?
Chaos is a ladder. Yeah, Littlefinger. There you go, Littlefinger. Thank you. I haven't seen Game of Thrones in some years now. That's you do your finger ain't little. That's a fat finger there, bro.
I know.
It's a nasty fat fucking elephantitis finger.
Finish your thought, boy.
Anyways, he says like chaos is a ladder, right? And so like right now Trump is chaos, and all of these people are climbing the ladder that he's providing, and that includes like all of this like confusion in the stock market in which all his rich people have made money. In the show Narcos, right? There's a scene in the second season of Narcos Mexico.
I haven't seen any of it, so
no, dude, this is his story. So if spoilers exist, whatever. So there's a point where they're talking about how like prior to 1988 election for president, there was only one richest man in Mexico in the like in the Fortune 500 or the Forbes, like, you know, where they keep track of this, right? After the 1988 election, there were, I think, somewhere between 10 to 15. I forget the exact number. The whole implication was this. The president of the time was corrupt, and he was helped by the narcos to become president. And so in doing so, this guy's agenda was to open up free trade, and also to decentralize, and also to I'm trying to remember the exact wording of it, but it's when you deregulate and you deregulate trade and you make it more available. So what happens was that all of these businesses got destroyed, like the farmings and whatnot, and all of these Mexican opportunities with a lot of money came in and bought them up pennies to the dollar. And suddenly they became rich because of it. And that's what Donald Trump has done.
Yeah.
That's what he did during this whole tariff thing. He remember in that one Oval Office meeting where he's telling, you made a lot of money this week and you made a lot of money this week. And he's basically boasting
on the opening, yeah,
that while the rest of us were suffering potentially, right?
Now let's be real though. That happens with every administration, every single administration, no matter what side of the party
But
it
on
is.
this level though, bro.
I believe it happens in every administration on this level, if not more.
Okay.
I don't see there's any proof of that. I just think that, well, because they're more clandestine, this guy's an idiot who cannot keep his mouth shut because he has to keep puffing up. But he did send us this message. Remember this one though?
Look, I know I hate all Mexicans because I am racist, but at least Angel and Enrique can make me laugh. Follow them on Ouchcast.com or I will deport them. Squid Squad out. Now, what's this about a banana?
Angel and Enrique, those degenerates not worthy of getting their hair sniffed. Why are we talking about squids and squads? Wait, where am I? Why does Trump want my banana? Come on, no joke, folks. Just let me listen to the Ouchcast. What were we talking about again?
What's this about a banana?
I just had to one more time.
Oh,
I just had to one more time.
That's you should have saved it for this episode, man. That was great.
That is for this episode. It's out now.
Didn't you play it before?
No, I haven't played it on the air. I did now. I just did a promo.
There you go.
Little
breaking
wink
news.
For this one. Breaking news. Ouchcast news.
Ouchcast
news. We are recording this on Friday. Whatever, the June 13th, the Friday 13th. Yeah. Tomorrow on the 14th, there are going to be protests across the nation called No King protests. Okay, No Kings. It's basically where everyone's supposed to go out and big middle finger to Donald J. Trump. The J stands for genius. Have you seen that video? Some MAGA guy's like, Donald J. Trump is a genius. That's what the J stands for.
No, I did not see that video, but that's
I gotta find
great.
it. That's hilarious. But anyway,
I hope nobody corrected him because that guy needs to go on living, believing
no one
that
did.
that somebody let him cook and he made himself a delicious pie. Like honestly,
moon pie. Anyway, go to nokings.org. If you guys, this is going to come up, tomorrow, June 14th. But nokings.org. There's still time. You can go out there, put in your address. There's going to be something nearby. There's a lot of protests going by here in Whittier. There's going to be one. There's one right now. We're going to go check out. The one in Whittier is going to be Saturday from 2 to 5 at Whittier City Hall, 13230 Penn Street, right here in Whittier. If you guys want to check that out.
Probably gonna last longer though, huh?
No, I think at this point it might be just from that time period because of the fact that here in LA we've been protesting nonstop since Monday. So I don't know how much energy. Hopefully it does keep going, but I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to touch that out. If you guys, we do have another episode that is going to be postponed by a week. So next Saturday, which is the ghost and hoaxes, and the Warrens are full of it. That one will be later on. I got nothing else to promote. Just info at ouchcast.com. Thank you for joining us. I know that we tried to make a little light of the subject, but I mean, we didn't do much. I completely had to say F ICE completely. Screw Donald Trump and his whole maggots. Enrique, anything else?
No, I got nothing. I think I've said it all. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing.
Ouchcast.
Ouchcast.com. And Isaac, anything to add?
Just what you said, F ICE and Trump and his whole administration.
And chinga el hielo.
Chinga su madre. Me la pela el güey.
Y no me chupe el plátano. Oh, wait. That's not it.
No me mires en los ojos cuando te estás mameando esa banana, cabrón.
Jeez. And we just got kicked off YouTube. Peace and hair grease, everyone. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there. And remember, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Peace.
Hey, I just said that.